Darth Kermit here with a comprehensive video on the best teams for each phase of the Challenge Tier Pit Raid as of the first week of January 2021. This list will obviously change significantly over time, so expect future update videos from me. I will give you a brief overview of each team, but will not be going into too much detail. You can find full guides for each team on my Discord or the Planet Coruscant Discord, links in the description. One thing to note is that best does not necessarily mean highest damage. For example, Rey is currently one of the highest damage teams in Phase 1, but most guilds currently prefer to save her for Phase 4 because she is practically necessary at the moment in order to do more than 2% in Phase 4. As always, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, hit that notification bell, and support me on Patreon if you think I deserve it. So on to Phase 1. The main team for Phase 1 is currently Supreme Leader Kylo. The other teams on my list are here because many people have them and they are capable of easy, consistent damage when you just need a bit more. Team 1. Supreme Leader Kylo, Hux, Crew, Watt, and Thrawn. With a Relic 8 Kylo, this team is capable of doing about 50% of Phase 1. With Relic 7, it can still easily do 30 to 40%. You want a fast Kylo for this team. The goal is to ramp Kylo's damage as fast as possible. The second team is a Padme lead with Anakin, Kenobi, Ahsoka, and 3PO. A lot of people have this team, and if you need 3PO for a different team, you can sub in R2 or Barriss without taking too much of a hit to damage output. Most of your damage in this team comes from Courage, but Anakin and Ahsoka add a decent bit too. This will get you 3 to 6%. And third, Gas 501st. It's not as accessible as Padme, but there are still a ton of players with access to this team. It's a pretty straightforward team for anyone who has it. Just try to get off as many aerial advantages from Rex as possible. For now, Phases 2 and 3 are basically the same. You need to make sure you have a debuffer in Phase 2 and a debuff cleanse in Phase 3, but most teams have both of those anyway, so there's really not much difference. Once again, the top team here is a Supreme Leader Kylo team. Sorry, Rey owners, Kylo owns yet another raid. First team. Kylo, Hux, Thrawn, Old Daka, Night Sister Zombie. While this team is definitely the best team for Phases 2 and 3, it is extremely RNG dependent. 10% is easy, but it can take many attempts to get the right RNG to do 20 to 30%. The idea is to power up Kylo while the Rancor devours Zombie multiple times and Daka revives anyone who dies. Unfortunately, the Devour target and Daka's revives are extremely RNG dependent. Second, Vader, Malak, Watt +2. This is another fairly accessible team that has very consistent damage. Depending on who you use for the 4th and 5th spots, you can very easily get 8 to 12%. The best choices currently are Traya and Thrawn. Third, Shaak Ti in the 501st. Another accessible team with consistent damage. Try to get off as many aerial advantages from Rex as possible. You can sub in 3PO for extra cooldown on Rex if you aren't using 3PO elsewhere. Phase 4. Rey is currently the queen of this phase. There are practically no teams right now that can get more than 2% in Phase 4 without Rey. There are currently 2 main compositions for Phase 4 Rey teams and a couple other notable teams that can consistently get around 2% damage. Rey Team 1. Jedi Knight Luke lead with Rey, Gas, Shaak Ti, and Hoda. Rey, Shaak, and Hoda keep everyone alive while Jedi Knight Luke and Gas do all the damage. This should get you between 6 and 8%. Rey Team number 2 is a Gas lead with Rey, Fives, Rex, and Hoda. This one is all about keeping Rex alive long enough to get off as many aerial advantages as possible. This should get you about 6%. The second team for Phase 4 is a CLS Han Chewie Chewpio R2 team. This team is very accessible and can consistently get 2%. It's also very straightforward, just damage the boss. The third team is Jedi Master Luke with 4 other Jedi. Depending on which Jedi you have left for him, a JMLS team can be pretty well counted on for a % or 2. Another notable team is Sith Eternal Emperor. I've been getting reports of various C teams doing up to 4% in Phase 4, but I haven't really been able to nail down one particular team composition or really validate those scores. So if any of you have good Phase 4 C footage, please let me know. There's one last category to go over, and that's Zerg Teams. With it being so hard to do significant damage in Phase 4 right now, many guilds will need to be able to Zerg the last few percent. These teams are the ones capable of doing at least a few tenths of a percent of damage even when the boss starts under 20% health. First up is Malik and 4 tanks. A super tanky Malik will get to use Drain Life 2 to 3 times for 0.2% damage each time. This will get you between 0.4 and 0.6% damage. Second is CLS, Han, Chewie, Chupio, and R2. Han gets to shoot first, with Chewie and Chupio assisting. This is about all the damage that you're going to get out of this team. You might get a counterattack or two. Third, Separatist lead with Jango. When under a Separatist lead, Jango gets 2 turns of damage immunity. This will allow him to get off 2 attacks. And last, General Grievous droids. Grievous gets to attack whenever his droids are killed off around him, so he will get an attack or 2 in. Meanwhile, B1 takes long enough to kill because of how its kit works that it should be able to get a little damage in as well. And that's it. I'll try to follow up on this video on a regular basis as things change. I hope this has been helpful. If you like my videos, please remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment down below, hit that notification bell, and support me on Patreon if you think I deserve it. Till next time.
I find your lack of rainbow connection disturbing.